So far what we've got is we're going to leave about 7:30. We're going to get there about 8 o'clock, set up our stall. Andrew and John are going to be the guardians of the stall, and you have to be fairly, you're okay with that. You're going to be staying there until about 3 o'clock.
How many local gay people could we expect to help in this? I mean, actually setting up the stall.
No gays will appear. They may pass the stall, but they will not appear.
But I mean, not actually in setting up, because obviously we use a van or something.
They will not associate
the
themselves
van,
with
but the van will be driven by a gay man.
Anybody else in the community is going to help on the stall at all?
Okay,
so
except for the political group McLaren and also Dan, who's an intersectional centre there, but not doing that over there. You will be doing.
Right.
So quite a few straightforward people on the start now.
Well, do we need to merchandise that immediately, that we take possession of it and set it up?
Well, I would have thought personally that the more junior stuff we certainly don't. I mean, anything which could be slightly controversial, we have to leave underneath until there's a bigger presence there.
Yeah.
Like the THD stuff. Right?
Well, I don't know, but I think we haven't got that controversial. Nothing that we're doing is that illegal. If you are comfortable with having capital gay and pink and queer and all that sort of stuff on the stall, then that's up to you, and I think that'd be great.
What about those
Nothing
THD posters?
That's fine. I mean, again, it's up to them.
Well, I mean, maybe
It's the safer sex poster.
The big safe, not the big dick, no, but the safe sex poster.
Yes, the advisable applies later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
The lesbian ones can be done because lesbian sex is legal.
Yeah, but you can be done under heterosexual laws for other people.
We
So we've got to be a bit careful.
Okay, so we set up the stall, and then the thing basically we have to do after that is to go and get the VIPs as they come into the church.
Now they're leaving what time? They're leaving. We reckon they've got to be there at 9:45. So
The church service starts at 9:45. So if we get to outside the church at 9:15, okay. So let me write that in. 9:15, we get to the church, and we want to get as many people there as possible. So besides you two, because you're going to be guarding the stall, anybody else that we can get, it's going to be our group plus any of your friends who will come.
And also the people who do
about one.
Okay,
How far is the entrance of the church to the actual stall?
It's not that far.
It's like basically it's about 100 yards. It's
266 feet.
There's the entrance. You have to sort of go around the back and we'll come out here.
Yeah, so the way
It's about 100
And you're
yards.
quite sure they'll be allowed at the entrance of the church.
Well, we've got to find that from the legal.
Oh, really?
I mean, on here it says that that's a public gallery anyway. So if he says that we can demonstrate, I think whatever happens, we should have a presence there.
Yeah.
And
This chap is selling this why homosexuality should be illegal. We've got to get hold of this, look at it, see what he's actually saying, and then just make a decision about what we're going to do about that, whether we're going to zap him or whatever.
so since we've actually bought it at that time, I know you don't like the idea of burning it, but could we rip it up?
I just don't want to.
It does strike a sort of censorship on that sort of
No, but it's censorship, and it's also I don't want to encourage people to go out and buy the book. We want to encourage people not to buy the book. We want to discreetly buy the book. And if we go out and start tearing it up, people might start copying it. People might start doing.
We've got to know what's in it, though. That's the most important thing.
The Reverend Hinton's one is anything to go by.
Hinton.
It'd probably be a load of garbage.
Yeah.
Well,
It will be, but it'll
If
still
it's all
get
biblical stuff, it'll be a load of rubbish.
Yeah, we can't.
But it could be a lot of dangerous garbage. I mean,
We can try and use our contacts, like the McBanning organisation, to see if they can get a copy. They may know about you.
Yeah.
but we can use this time after
We can
they've
just
gone
use
to
this
the
time
church.
after the service. So 9:45 they're in the service and we're doing nothing. We can go and get the book. 10:30 they're out of the service and people start to assemble.
Well, now
At that point we have to get to there, right there, as
Well,
close
no.
as possible.
we may be going in with Alan if we can get.
Depends how many people can accompany Alan.
If we can all go in, then that'd be great. If we can all process down here, that'd be fabulous. But if we can't, whoever can't process will go to the front here to be as visible as possible to the VIPs.
And we also need. Once it's in session, then there's no question of banners or protests of any sort, is there?
Well, I don't know whether we can hold things up. Maybe we can hold up.
You can't on those because we want with the costume up there, which I think we wanted to put a serious element in it. Again, if I can get 6 piece week with these t-shirts,
Yeah.
and find out what the Tasmanian man is, and aim at him, stop and pull, and aim.
Don't you think the impact will be greater if you go up on your own?
Sorry.
Clearly we want to support you, but
Yeah.
don't you think the impact is going to be a lot greater if there's
Right.
sort of one solitary figure walking up?
But there's more to one.
It-
There's more.
This sounds like a Hollywood epic.
The problem is that with the threat of an attack which is being made,
Yes.
one, I've got to take it serious enough. The second one is, will the police intervene?
Yeah. Also, this may be a case, you've got a lot of people who will be watching you at that point, and this can be a point when we can say, look, this person has support from people from, not just from this island, but from elsewhere, people who've come to help,
I think
and who believe in what this man is doing.
Yes, it's again, if the threat from John Curran happens, that he is a rat, then, I mean, when I walk, when I walk from up here, booing, oohing, let's get him.
Yeah.
That's when the threats start. That's why I've now arranged like protection.
Exactly. I think it'd be just really good, because it'd be worrying for you, no matter how positive anybody is. Walking on your own down a long like 100 yards with people booing is horrible. If there were like 15 of us or whatever all together, it would be great, because you just feel really strong.
I think we should mince something rather than
We'll probably do that automatically.
So we're trying to normal game in.
Whatever you do, I'll be taking seriously. Whatever you want to do, you do it.
Yeah.
You get away with murder.
As long as it won't be seen as insulting the government, and therefore they're going to stop it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we should
They won't stop it.
Or if they don't like us, we should be as outrageous as possible. We're called outrage. So.
How we could walk behind you holding hands in pairs or something like that.
You can do what outrage. Be outrageous.
Exactly. Okay.
Well, we agree.
So let's assume that some of us are going to be with you and some of us are going to be here, just as the easy scenario. And that's going to happen till 12 o'clock. Let me just get through the whole thing, then we can discuss everything afterwards. Then that's going to get through till 12. End of the ceremony. All of us go back to the stall. Okay. And then we have a big presence at the stall, and that's when we have to decide about. That's when we have to do the zap on Mel Cheetham. And then what I'm sort of thinking about is accosting people who are coming to the store, handing out leaflets, accosting him personally, direct sort of thing, you are a homophobe, you've got a problem, we're not going to tolerate that sort of stuff. And
we should also bring in this thing about a problem with his own sexuality, which is why he's produced this book.
Yeah, whatever.
That's
how it's like a David Lister sort of thing, that aggressive sort of forward, and then we can intercept people. And we've got leaflets that we can hand out, and we can hold up banners.
So we're handing out leaflets we've already got, or what?
Yeah, the leaflets that I've got, the homosexuality and human rights in the Isle of Man stuff. Okay. Yeah, and then we can even cut those ones up if we're going to have. Yeah. I've got a big long leaflet which is like very nice sort of.
Lots of information.
Claire Rayner sort of thing. Yes. To take you through.
Can we not forget Tasmania?
We can't forget Tasmania.
No, well I mean, but we've got the people going to the garden party as another possible opportunity to get the governor of Tasmania.
We should respond to that after we see how things have gone, do you think? Actually, when you presented the petition, after you presented the petition, when we...
3 o'clock.
Where is it?
It's in Governor's House, which is in Douglas, which is we'll try and show you something.
Oh, okay.
So how long is it going to take to get back from the transport?
It'll be the same time, 20 to 100.
And how are we going to do the transport?
Well,
everything we're going to try and arrange something.
Okay. What about lunch?
Well,
will lunch
don't get any.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
Easy. On all the stores.
I like lunch.
On these stores.
Activists donate.
Andrew, really? Such commitment you show, I love it.
On these stores, there will be someone selling food. If they can find.
We can zap them for
now.
the
What is it? Bread and water?
There's a
What are you trying to say, Alan?
There's a store that we don't want you to use, and that's been used by Judas. No one uses it.
This nameless person who you're going to
Somebody's
call...
giving you
No
bad
one
advice.
uses it. It's Judas' store.
Love it, so bitchy.
Will you tell us the number of the store? You can tell us.
I'll find it and I'll tell you
Okay.
where it is. Do not use it. He's against lesbian gay rights.
So we're
As a
boycotting
gay
that.
man, he's saying that he doesn't approve towards lesbian and gay rights, and if he's against us on the Isle of Man, he's also against gays in all over Europe. That's sort of not being
Throughout the world.
I went to bed last night with my love and said, Judas, I can do this. One gay man, out of all of them, is challenging the rest of the gay community on the Isle of Man, which to me is a Judas.
Yeah, but then you can see how much of a minority he's in, and that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But if we locate the store, we're going to tell you where the store is. We want you to either go up there and say, no thank you, and walk away.
Mince, sorry.
We can
do whatever you want to do.
We can zap him as well. I mean, I think we can have a roving zap. And it's like, the best thing about these sort of things is that it's spontaneous. It's like then happens. It doesn't have to be that organised. We just say that we want to do this. Yeah, we can zap Mel Cheetham, and we can go on to, do something about the Tasmanians if we have time, and then whatever.
I think at some point it's important to try and do something about
important
Tasmania.
to,
It shows that you've got a broader sort of
solidarity with them.
Solidarity.
Because
Well,
I mean, don't forget there's a lot of gays there. And they went out and invited
yeah, but I'm
people
going to be with Hazel. Once I get into your house and you're outside, I'll be aiming for him first.
Joan while we're got my
Is there something?
yeah,
And like as soon as I walk in anyway, I presume people will say, oh, it is that
people know who you are.
They know who I am.
What about the kissing?
When you celebrate in
Yeah,
We're just desperate to kiss somebody, aren't we?
I think a kissing would be really good actually.
Everyone's just a kiss.
I'll swing my two. I mean, this thing, I think I'll two my
I think we should all men are kissing each other.
Kissing is definitely.
It'd be fabulous.
Perhaps,
We've got-
I mean, is that the kind of thing that we should do by Cheatham's install a celebration of love?
Yeah.
A kissing. I mean, this kind of thing will tell us that we need to be locked up. So what we do should be.
Yeah, but again, before you start kissing those men, it's better to check.
We've got to check it. Provided it's legal. Maybe
Is
this
he
is
literally a one-man band, or has he got help?
I don't understand them at
Try
all.
to get as much
It
as
looks
they
like
can.
it's one-man band. The rest of the store.
No, I mean, we want the stores
Yeah,
to
I
be
wanna-
open to do
but
its
I
business for a period of
Again,
time.
one is
It's a bit piece
But
of news.
when
Just
the press, I'm worried about this part of time between 12 and 3, because if the ceremony ends about 12, when will the press actually go to the garden party? When can we have the press at the store?
The press will. I've got German TV, GBBC. I've got on the island international reporters. Once I walk down the aisle, like the little wedding ceremony, my petition then the attention on the press will be focused on the crowd. Because they've had warning there could be a demonstration, an anti-demonstration.
Right, okay.
It depends. If it is a riot and an attack on me, I hope, for God's sake, the press aren't covering it.
Fine, okay.
Just show them how evil.
Right. But the press are going to be covering this event from basically 9:40
The press
from
box.
10:30 till
If the press
12.
box is just around, it's around here.
Okay, fine.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? And just because you guys obviously have several more hours of this to do, and we need to get on. Can I ask you guys a few questions while we've got you here? Okay. First of all, what is zapping somebody? Just for my own edification.
Do you want to?
I mean,
Basically, zapping is a sort of spontaneous reaction to something that someone's doing. Zapping would be any form of protest we can dream up that we can get away with. Usually it's placards, banners, it's whistles, it's making a lot of noise and drawing attention to something that somebody is doing. Zapping is just a zap. He's not expecting it, not necessarily.
Spontaneous rather than
Everything we do is like focused towards that. It's direct action. It's really spontaneous. It's really sort of forceful and forthright, and that's it.
It's important, however, to say that it is one of the principles of the group, one of the principal, or the purposes of the group is that we are non-violent, and there is no intention to employ violence.
well, why have you come here for tomorrow?
Can you point with your
All right. Well, why don't we start with you since you're speaking?
Okay, well, we come here to support Alan in his action on the island to get the decriminalisation of gay male sex, to bring the island into line under the European Convention of Human Rights, and in line with the rest of the United Kingdom.
I've gone through this with Alan already today, but I'll ask you the same question. As the law exists now, it is not being, there is not a police force that's out scoring through people's bedrooms trying to find people in the act of whatever. Why is it so important that we look at police?
We've seen on the mainland of the United Kingdom laws on the books which appear to be completely harmless applied to people in situations where they were completely consenting, where what they were doing was almost totally harmless. I'm thinking about, tell me which group was it? Operation Spanner. Where apparently innocuous laws were applied, have been applied, to harass the gay community.
Well, they're okay.
And we think it is important that all parts of the United Kingdom should come under the same laws, and the laws should be applied in the same way.
If I can just move to you, what is the danger that you see here if this law is not?
The danger is twofold. The whole environment of the community is affected by this law. This law sort of embodies the fact that gays can't come out because of this. It's very difficult for a gay person to be out and proud and say, yes, I have a boyfriend and I have sex with him and that's fine. Because even though they don't use the law, in theory it's illegal. And that is something that, that's sort of a spirit which is which is in the island. And so there are no gay pubs, there are no gay clubs, and there's the only out gay person in the whole island of 70,000 people. And so for that reason, it's very, very important. And also, it's very important because we just do not want this sort of discriminatory law on statute books, whether or not it's used recently. They do use other anti-gay laws, such as gross indecency and so on, a lot more frequently with a lot more aggression than it's done in the mainland. So people are harassed to give sort of names of partners, which is never done on the mainland. That sort of stuff never exists.
And we also know that that they tend to use laws when people have forgotten about them a bit. When there's a lot of fuss going on, they won't use the law. But as soon as all this is over and interest has gone away, they will quietly use that law.
Yeah.
So it may not be enforced at the moment because there's a lot of attention based on them, but they'll use it.
There are people, in particular the MPs, who voted to retain the law here, who think that this is terrible, that this would be bad for the island. I'm sure that you've heard the arguments over and over again. How do you respond to those people, especially when they say things like, this is natural, this is not what God intended, people should go away and not bother us?
Well, I mean, the thing is that we're all legitimate members of the society. We can't say that just because we're a small proportion of society, we don't have the same rights as everybody else in the society. So they can't. We're not just going to go away. We're here, and in general, it's accepted about 10% of the population is gay. So, you know, they have rights just the same as anyone else, and those rights have to be upheld, and upheld by those people in Parliament who take taxes from those people. I mean, everything is the same for gay people as for straight people, but the law is discriminatory, and there's no basis to that.
We have to be clear about what this law actually means. And what it means is two guys in a room locked, shutters drawn, are doing something that the rest of the community is interested in. I mean, they're saying everybody else who cannot see what's happening, doesn't know what's happening, can't hear it, doesn't affect them in any way at all, is saying what you did in that room is going to put you in prison for life. Now, that's the sort of impacts of the law, and you think, well, is that sort of law something that society really wants to keep? Is that something that they want to have there? And basically our thing is it's none of your business. This is a consenting action between two adults.
But nobody knows for sure because it's not been a referendum in this island. But if you accept what the members of Parliament say, and that the majority of the people on this island don't want to do that, how do you respond to that?
Well, I would say, if you went, I'm sure if you went to certain countries, if you went to Nazi Germany and said, do the majority of the people want to kill Jews, maybe they would have said yes. Right? But the thing is it right for a majority to suppress the innocuous activities of a minority? And I don't think it is. It's very easy for a majority to say, to vote and say, right, we will eliminate this minority, and that has happened through history, countless numbers of times. That isn't a valid reason to do something.
I think the point you're forgetting here is that it's all very well talking to us. We're sort of out and proud, we're all confident about our sexuality. We've got to think about the people who are on the fringes of the community, the young, the people who have conflicting issues in their head. They have nowhere to go. They don't have any support from the community. How do those people talk to like-minded individuals? Often they suppress it and get married and then lead an extremely dissatisfied life until the day they die, or worse, they go off and commit suicide because they just can't come to terms with it. And we are in the 20th century. The Isle of Man is a small island, 50 miles off the UK mainland. It is part of the UK.
Yeah, a lot of people on the island are very fiercely independent, and I believe in people's right for self-determination. But they signed in 1950 the European Convention for Human Rights, and the particular issue about homosexuality was sort of ratified, I think, in 1953, and they still are not complying by that. And as you just said, it's 1991, and if these people want to retain their independence, I think they should be voting against this criminalisation of homosexuality. They should be decriminalising it and retaining their own independence. If they don't do it, the British government is going to step in anyway and force it upon them. And for their own pride, I'd have thought it would have been better for them to actually do it off their own back and prove that they're making moves towards humanity and making strides towards the 20th century, which we're nearly at the end of. And it seems that some people's attitudes are very close to the beginning of the century.
We were talking to one of the MPs today who voted against this. He said, you know what's going to happen if we change this the age of consent is going to go lower and lower and lower, and pretty soon we're going to have pedophiles. How do you explain?
Well, I believe, as far as an age of, I don't believe, well, paedophilia is a completely and utterly separate issue from homosexuality. Paedophiles are interested in children, they're not interested in same-sex adult partners. That's what we're about. We're lesbians and gays, and we're interested in that, obviously. That's what we're about. But as for an age of consent, if 16 is the age of consent for heterosexual partners, then it should be the age of consent for homosexual partners. I mean, currently in the UK, you can join the army and die for your country, but you can't you don't have the right to love the person you want to love. There's absolutely no logic in that whatsoever.
What do you think it is about the people here that have made them so fiercely against it? At least the legislators so fiercely against it. Do you have a sense of it? I know you've not been here much. I mean, we've gotten Alan's opinions on this, but I'm wondering if any of the rest of you have any thoughts on it.
I think basically it's just ignorance and fear. It's something that they don't know. They're very deeply rooted in a sort of quite primitive form of religion. They're very sort of, Bible is the word sort of thing, and they misinterpret the Bible as well. And it's just ignorance and fear. If they lived in a society where they were much more open and they just said, well, people live their own lives, and they actually saw that, we are ordinary people, we just have different sexuality, and that's really all that it's about.
Well, this is borne out really by what's happened in a city like London. I mean, 20 years ago, London was very much, the attitudes in London were almost exactly the same as they are in the Isle of Man now. The presence, last Saturday there was a gay pride march in London, 45,000 people marched through the streets. Really, very few people turned a hair. They're used to seeing us. They're used to, and it doesn't threaten their lives. They're now beginning to realise that. It is because of this isolation, and it seems to happen in island communities. Tasmania has a very similar problem at the moment. It seems to be the island communities, they're remote from what's happening to the rest of the world, and therefore it's fear of it.
Are you dismayed or concerned that Alan is the only person from this community who's prepared to come out and talk about this in public?
Obviously we're concerned. I think that shows the depth of bad feeling there is here, but I'm hoping that what we do now and what Alan is very bravely doing will actually show other people that, well, you can do it, and that if you have some pride in yourself. One of the great things that the heterosexual community has done to gay society is to actually take away their pride. And on the mainland, certainly that's coming back. And I think here, just visibility is what brings it back. If people know there are other people in the same situation, then they'll start to believe in themselves and what it's done. And it does take a lot of courage. It's a big step. Even just to come out is a big step. But once you've done it and you have a sense of, once you can work with a group, it's much easier to feel that solidarity. I couldn't do what we're doing tomorrow individually. Alan's a lot braver than I am. But as a group, we can do a lot of things because you're empowered by the other people in that group.
To answer your question about the religious thing, they've always thrown up these fears about we're going to eat children, and the age of consent will be 12. Well, in some European countries it is, and the sky hasn't fallen in there, and they're quite happy with it. If Britain is joining into the European Social Charter in 1992, there will be lots of things in there that will apply to Britain as a whole and the Isle of Man. Now, is the Isle of Man going to say, oh no, we don't want anything to do with Europe? They'll want the money, but they've got to take on the responsibility of the other social aspects as well, like a Charter of Human Rights for every citizen, and that includes 12, 14, 16-year-olds. And to say to these religious people, if you're saying these things, prove it. Where's your evidence? They haven't got any evidence. They haven't got any scientific or truthful evidence. All they've got is the Bible.
And it's scaremongering too. The whole item of paedophilia is simply scaremongering because it's basically a heterosexual offence in most cases. Most cases of child molestation happen within the family, and there are heterosexual people doing it. So it's just scaremongering, saying the ones that probably that they're most horrified by.
Well, we know we're right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
All right. Unless there's anything else you want to...
No, I think we're carrying on.
Oh, don't let that blow away.
I'll put this under the Well, I'll tell you what I could do.
Oh, yeah.
Make a spec in one
I'll
of
have 2
these.
badges
Yeah,
for that.
good idea.
I'll have one of them and one of them and a piece of ball.
Oh, put a pound.
Stingy.
Are you recording now?
Yeah.
Get this upside down. Yeah.
I got it last night.
Did you take one of those, love?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Give it a hand. Hello, Mr. Camus.
How are you, Jesse?
Fine.
You're not going to put this on the BBC. But you want to say,
Thanks very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, this too about it. We meant to put it together, but we only got the printers yesterday. Thank you.
Far too many.
Right, these
You only
are...
have about 6. There's going to be any picking books up for this. You're okay?
There's some noise. No, thank
Leave the silence. Just stand in the road if you can.
Why don't we stand right by the road? Why don't you stand either side of the door? I've just got to go to the club.
The Isle of Man is part of the United Kingdom. Therefore, it should recognise homosexual men and immediately recriminalise this as an offence. Equal rights and equal gays want equal rights.
Good morning. Are you with us in our fight for equality?
We're queer, we want our rights. We're here, 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 we're queer, we want our rights.
How many more suicides on the Isle of Man?
How are you, Alan?
Do you think it's better than you changed it years ago? So you can't have it both ways. If you want European help, you give them European help. What do you think about John Corn's comments on the radio?
I haven't heard them. I can't comment on what I haven't heard. You know my comments. I've been straight with you. I've conversed with you and spoke to you. I have a view and you have a view, and that's yeah, but I'm not prepared anything. I'm discussing even with the lads here. The lads are over. I'll come and discuss it with you.
On the island, how do you think it will change the
well, it's like looking at a crystal ball. You can only go past experience. Dublin is my experience, my recent experience. Unfortunately, it's just got a bit of a hand out there. It has been a problem. You're aware of it.
Dublin is a problem.
Yeah, well, it is legalised over there.
When you're going over Dublin?
Over there and,
sorry? When you're going to Dublin, it's not legalised there now. It is legal in Dublin.
It is not.
Yeah, that's right. They're wrapping up this. That's right. Can we not charm before the actual ceremony?
Discrimination, but there isn't.
The church choir is now making its way up towards Tynwald Hill, and it's customary for a number of official guests to be invited to the Tynwald ceremony. And today we have the 18th Earl of Derby, whose family has very close historical links with the island. Lord Derby was educated at Eton and Oxford and has held a variety of public offices in the northwest of England. I've mentioned the Polish training ship. Well, we had hoped to welcome to Tynwald the Polish ambassador to the court of St. James. Unfortunately, he's injured his back and has been... Rapacki is here instead. He's been stationed in London since February this year, having previously held diplomatic posts in Japan and Spain.
Yeah, let's give it a go. We can only start playing fun for it.
Blowing up, just need a couple of seconds to the way. No, not yet.
Colin, tell me what you hope to achieve. We're getting recognised not just us, there's loads of minority groups. Petition, our parliament is run out 9 and 10, and we want the world to get their attention what's going on here. What is going on? They're keeping gays closely together, near the gutter. But oppressed by the government, oppressed almost oppressed by the people. Today, again, being here today, in this uniform, I've been threatened. So I've got protection, now I've got police protection. So, what's going on here?
Tell me the symbolism of the uniform and the number.
It's Nazi Germany, I went to concentration camps to kill gays, Jews, gypsies, disabled, blacks, right across the board. And I'm wearing it here because there's other countries here that do not recognise human rights. Even the Australian representative, not even the Tasmanian situation, have got the same laws that we've got. So today I'm showing not just for our Tynwald, but for others as well. Other countries on that platform do not accept human rights.
I'll ask you again what you hope to achieve. Slightly just tighter about here, just the other man.
Well, I want law change.
Right,
now, as His Excellency leaves the church, preceded by the state's law.
The law's still there.
What do you hope? Tell me what you hope, just very brief about the symbolism of today. What do you hope today will achieve for you?
Well, it achieves quite a lot, not just for myself, the gays on the islands. People will understand that we are an oppressed group. With the threats and everything that's going on here. It's obviously common.
Now, as the procession is approximately halfway to Tynwald Hill, we can see the 8 trumpeters of the Irish Guards leading the way, followed by the sword bearer, Captain Peter Drinkwater, late Coldstream Guards, bearing the State Sword of Man, which dates from the 12th to defend and protect the people.
What are you getting behind this quite nicely?
This is the democratic right of 3 men of man dating back to early times, and a number of petitioners are making their way up the processional pathway to hand in their forms of petition to Professor St. John Bates, Clerk of Tynwald, who awaits them at the foot of the steps to Tynwald Hill. Until 1968, this right was only...
That's what I heard, and mumbling.
What did you hear?
Perhaps I'm hissing and perhaps I'm mumbling, possibly.
The Isle of Man Gay Pride. We're here and we're not going shopping.
Get this closer for me if you want. Am I going to be famous? What's getting us jogging on this?
Filming here.
I want to get you all in.
And who are you filming for?
I'm just for myself.
Oh, just yourself. Oh.
You're not on the BBC, don't worry.
No. That's good.
Can you give us a full frontal then?
Yep. Let's have a full frontal. Yes, let's have a full frontal. Why not? Why not? Why not? Yes, why not? Why not? Yes, why not? Aye.
No, it is.
Watch yourself there, John. Watch yourself.
We're just standing there, minding our own.
All right, I see. Don't make yourself an answer. You've got the right to protest. Do it properly, then go away. There's no use having a conversation.
We did that demonstration perfectly.
It's not the mind. This is the people What is the point? There's no point.
It is a very important issue. We're prepared to get locked up. We're prepared to get locked up for that. No, if I don't want to. No, I'm not forcing your hand. I just think you're being unreasonable.
No, I'm not.
I was attacked by a crowd in there, and you said that once the court was fenced, that if anybody said anything, we were quiet. We did not say a single word.
And why did one of your officers?
People attacked us. People were shouting. I had a guy in front of me saying, "Hang them, smoke, kill them," and you did nothing. Nothing at all. Right. What if I said the same thing? What if I was shouting while that guy was there? You would have locked me up, but not him, okay? That's very fair. There's a camera there. I hope
there's a camera there. What about cameras? I'm using cameras. What I'm saying to you is, you've had your protest, you've got your pictures in the paper, you've got your pictures on camera, you've had your say as you need to have it. I don't worry about it. You've got your rights, I've got my way of doing things. These people have got their way of doing things. Theirs is not necessarily yours. Now, what I'm saying to you, listen to me. The best for both of us. Don't push it. Like you say, Alan's done his bit, now just back up peacefully.
That was all we were going to do. I just think you're being unreasonable in the meantime.
We
That's
changed
all
the
we were
law.
doing.
No
We were
reason.
just
You
being
asked
peaceful.
me not so long ago, can you give us protection? You're causing trouble over there.
Officer, we were
You
attacked.
didn't give us protection over there.
You didn't give us protection over there.
protection over there. One of your officers did Did anybody touch your feet?
Yes, we were. I've got a bruise here. I was punched in the face by someone. Sorry.
If there was a change in the law, there'd be no reason.
I really enjoyed it. We're lucky. Is that love?
Welcome, rubbish.
Lucky.
You want to sing that one halfway across and get video?
We did not insult people. I did not invite anybody, and we had that.
You're not welcome here.
So I know what you've said.
Stop it, rubbish. Hey, you're not welcome. Little kids here as you go around kissing.
So go back to Liverpool, where he came from. Missing is an act of love. There's nothing else to do.
Get lost. What a waste of time.
Just swallowed the dictionary.
I don't think you're very much in the middle.
Get loud round. Who's in the middle?
Free country, the ground's free back. Be on their side, or what?
What's trouble supposed to affect?
Over on cheap straw.
We basically did nothing.
They should have banned them.
But too scared to admit they're gay because of people like you. No, Alan Shea wasn't the one, it's other people. We've met at least 10 people who asked us to come over at least.
What's 10 compared to all?
No, they haven't. No, they didn't.
They have rights too though, don't they? Even the 10.
They were held on remand, and not one of them was jailed. So you get your facts right.
They weren't jailed, they were given.
No, they weren't. And nobody has ever been jailed.
Given real fines.
But they will be in the future if we have anything to do with
What
it.
about the boy blues had off with those? Is that right? Is that the kind of climate you want in this island?
We've got a climate in the island.
It's like young
We've got a climate in the island. It doesn't require you. We've managed without you for long.
people in this island.
Don't call them gay. You're bumbalasters. It's buggery. It's nothing else. It's buggery.
It may surprise you to know that not all gay men commit the act of buggery.
Tell me it's love and gay. Well, it's buggery. I know you do. I'm sure you do.
So what's the matter with that?
But you take yourself off to England where it's permitted.
So we go back to England, you'll be happy for all the gay men. You'll be happy for the max gay men to behave like you do.
They don't behave like you. They keep themselves to themselves.
Why don't you judge yourself before you judge other people?
They blast their brains out because they're so scared of people like you. Listen to the man who's spoken to mock about democracy at the Tynwald. Thank you. All right. You can hold that. Great.
No, we think no. We think she's still young now, actually.
Just say that again.
What? Everyone's got the right to do what they want. Everyone's to do exactly what they want. It's a free world. Should be happy. Should be able to do exactly what they want.
There's small-minded Manx people. I mean, I'm Manx myself. I'm not small-minded.
They're just stupid, thick.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's good.
I mean, like, because people who don't like this. straight away when you put it beside him. Well, it worked. They went away, it certainly worked. You can see that everything.